So we're going to have a little fun with this last, I guess, kind of a question, but more of a story.
Okay.
I have to caveat this with what I'm about to say. Rich was respectful and kind, and I probably didn't even know about this. So Rich, you're going to just have to comment on the end, whether you did or not.
Let's go for it.
I have an email that I printed out from February 5th, 2014, back when Born Primitive was about to be born a couple weeks later. And my scrappy self, I really didn't have any money, and I'm trying to start this thing called Born Primitive. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So my brilliant idea was like, hey, let's take like the Michael Jordan of the sport and see if he would be willing to like take equity in the company in exchange for like and promotion, but I can't give him any money. And I know like he's I think at that time, maybe you were a Reebok guy. So of course, you know what I mean? To me, I'm like, no.
I can give you some context after, I'm sure. So go ahead.
So I figured, I'm going to put myself out there and see if we can make this happen. And it ended up, I think, got through to your agent. I'll just use first names.
Webb Smith at the time. Webb,
yes, it was.
Helped me out a ton early on.
Yep. So I sent you this email. I threw the Hail Mary. I think I'd reached out a couple times and I didn't get a response, which is fine because you're a busy guy. But eventually, so this was the last email I sent. And I just thought it was kind of funny, man, trip down memory lane. And then I'll provide some more context. But I would ultimately end up printing this email out, and this email,
motivation.
This is the original right here. I took it out of the frame, has been above my desk for the last 10 years. It was in my locker when I was in the military training, right next to the original newspaper cutout of 9/11, next to a picture of my family. So to put it in perspective, that's what this was with. Those were the three things that were motivating me.
Love it.
And so, little bulletin board material. And I think anyone who's launching any endeavor, where you start versus where you might end up, you never know where it's going to go. So be hungry, be scrappy. But yeah, just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and read. This was me back in 2014, thinking I was a little badass businessman with this really cool idea. So here we go. And I'm going to skip some parts, but sent at 3:05 Central Time from Indiana. Hey, Rich, I hope training is going well. I've been holding off contacting you personally out of respect for you because I know you are really busy with training and other endorsements. I wanted to take one final shot at getting a hold of you to see if you're interested in becoming a part owner and equity holder in our new company with zero financial contributions needed.
Nice.
My goal at the start of this in May was to find a strategic partner in both the Olympic lifting scene and CrossFit scene. Because the company is small and thus all the funds are going to product development and patent fees, I decided to take a creative approach and offer actual equity in the company in exchange for product endorsement and support. We are officially launching next Friday, and I really want you to be a part of our team. My brother and I would handle all the day-to-day aspects of the business, so you obviously wouldn't be expected to have a huge workload. For you, I hope you see this as a long-term opportunity that is different from other endorsements. You will be part of a business that you can watch expand and grow. And as that happens, the value of your equity will rise. It can never be taken away unless the company is sold, which would be a team decision. In closing, I hope you give this a little bit of thought and let me know where you stand. I can promise you that my brother and I are great teammates and we will make this worth your while. We were both Division I football players at Yale and both made the dean's list. Oh, wow, that's dorky.
Nice.
I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that in email.
That's solid, though.
That's pretty dorky. I will bring the same tenacity, intelligence, competitiveness, and work ethic to this product, and losing is not an option. And then it got cut off. I don't know how it closed it. So this went to Rich's agent again. So we got it, Rich. We're not throwing Rich under the bus here. And to credit to his agent, Webb Smith, we were not a business, and Rich had just won the CrossFit Games and was getting real companies were endorsing him, not some little wannabe business out of my living room in Indiana. But Webb responded. Let me find it here. Sorry. Bear, so there's no website and the product did not fit him last I checked. How would he properly access whether or not he'd want to go down this path? ? I am not too keen on the necessary legal work that it would take him, the out-of-state K1 ownership form, and this is the part that I highlighted, and his minority ownership for a product whose success would depend almost solely on him. Rich tends to focus on deals that minimize his needs to focus on that said deal. If there is no guaranteed money or royalties, the partnership will not work. I cannot advise him to be a minority partner of a pre-revenue startup. Webb Smith. So that was one of those moments, man, where
You're like, hey, here we go.
And, in the time, there was no thank you. There's no good luck. He didn't even sign it. It was just, it was like, man, that was a gut punch.
Do you know Webb now?
I don't. No, I haven't.
Webb's
He seems to be
strictly business at that time.
And he honestly, I subscribe to some of his content, and he's like a brilliant mind in the e-commerce space. So the guy's killing it. Yep. But if I ever see him, I'm showing him this email.
Show him that email. Absolutely.
And I'm going to give him a Post-it note, because I was proposing 20%, just so you know. And I am going to give, whenever I see Webb, I'm going to just keep a Post-it note in my pocket at all times. I'm going to tell him what that 20% is, and just kind of give him a chuckle. And he's going to say, "What the hell is this?" And I say, "You don't know who I am, but go ask Rich. Go ask Rich."
That's good.
To
give you some backstory, probably at that exact moment, I don't know the dates, because it was, we had Nike on one side and Reebok on the other. And so we were basically playing that game. So at that point, my Reebok contract was coming up, and Nike was just getting into the space. And so to give you, that's just the context behind that. Probably a little bit nicer of an email would have been more appropriate. But yeah, that's where we were at. And Webb did a great job. We haven't worked together in probably, I think right after that whole deal went down. Like I said, he's a good dude and he's done some good things, but that's funny to revisit that whole deal and think about what was going on in the CrossFit space at that time. I mean, like you're saying, like we were on our rise at that point, and it's still growing, and you guys hit it right at the right time. And I mean, honestly, if I look back at that Reebok and Nike contract, I hit that at the perfect time. You look at now what's in the space and you're like, oh, wow. So nice. It's cool to revisit that, though, man. And it's impressive to see what you guys have done in space from that moment is pretty awesome.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and of course,
and Panchik gave me a couple pairs of shorts, and you guys have sent some of the outerwear for outdoor stuff, and it fits.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Good, man. It's all coming full circle.
Full circle.
When we did this podcast, I was like, I can't not because this is now framed on my desk. This is framed on my desk. It's been there it was originally just thumbtacked, and then it got upgraded to a frame at year 6.
I love it.
But it's the original, and And so did you? The Reebok, didn't you sign was it a 7 or 8 year deal?
10-year deal. So I'm on my last year right
crazy.
now. So, yeah, I mean, to think about that is it's crazy. To get a 10-year deal now, I don't think is
no way. And how close was Nike? Because man, how different would it have been if you had become a Nike athlete for 10 years?
Yeah. Well, so Nike was that was the deal. It was I wanted at that point, I was having a kid.
Yeah.
I wanted long-term. It was I think, I don't even know. It was similar money.
Okay.
Oh, and with more back end, kind of like with Reebok, it was more kind of back end and percentages on that back end of the contract, and Nike was more guaranteed in a short amount of time. So then I'm thinking, all right, I'm paying more in taxes and all that type of stuff. And then, I didn't know. I made the right decision in the long term, but man, to turn down Nike felt wrong. You don't turn down Nike.
I know.
And so, like I said, I look back and I'm like, we made the right decision. I don't feel like, with the way CrossFit Mayhem grew and some of the stuff that we do, I feel like Nike might have been a little bit more like, hey, no, you're doing this. And so, man, you look back at those decisions and you're like, it's, man, every decision you make, you don't think about it. Yeah, obviously that's a huge one, but you don't think about what it's going to look like 10 years down the road. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's well, congrats. I mean, obviously a 10-year deal.
Same on you guys though, too.
You 100% made the right decision. And obviously given the data you had at the time, you imagine that you got Nike, you got Reebok, and then you got this random dude named Bear from Indiana talking about snatch shorts.
That's awesome. Hey, man, you guys have that's what's cool about it.
No, that's too funny, man. I think for anyone that's listening, that's trying to start your own endeavor, obviously Rich has done that. I've done that. In the beginning, you got to be scrappy, particularly when you don't have resources, and a lot of time you're going to get a whole lot of no's in the beginning.
Yep.
But be persistent, and it, you know, as you know, Rich, like it comes full circle, and when you eventually kind of achieve some of that success, then you're having to be the one that say no, because then, you know, the roles kind of reverse, and now people are reaching out to you for partnerships and all that. So for those that are in the trenches on a startup or wherever you are, you know, that it comes with the territory. Don't get discouraged, be scrappy, work your butt off. And if you hit, you know, if doors close on you, you just keep banging on doors, and that's what you got to do. But yeah, just want to have a little fun with that one. But it's so cool to hear context, though. I didn't know we were up against like in real time Reebok and Nike negotiation,
I mean, you're smack dab in the middle of that. Like I want to say I signed the Reebok contract in June of that year. So I think you sent that email in March. Is that what it said?
It was February 5th, 2014.
So, I mean, you're talking like we had to have been talking to both Reebok, Nike, and I think I was at the end of an Oakley contract or something like that.
Okay.
You know, so it was like, I think I was Reebok shoes and Oakley apparel. And then it was like Reebok wanted all of it and Nike wanted all of it. And so it was like, man, perfect storm of all of those. So there you go.
Heck yeah, man.
Well, and in the CrossFit space, you guys are arguably bigger than any of them right now. So there you go.